You have got to be kidding me. In the middle of July, they're going to let me talk to the mad scientist before training camps even open up? I get a hookup with Warren Sharp? I mean, who came up with this stuff? I mean, this guy is making so much money with Sharp Football Analysis. He's just omnipresent. He's everywhere. He has moved up in the rankings, moved up in the world, bought himself a new crib. I looked at his shot. I said, where's the fireplace? Where's the family room? Where's the BetMGM sign? What happened? And he said he moved into a gated community, a much bigger house. Look at him. It's Warren Sharp, our lead analyst. Look at him right now, just styling. He's got footballs behind him. He's got it all going. I think I saw you on that set the other day. I almost fell over. It looked so fantastic. He had to move to a better crib to put out his 8th rendition of his book that comes out. 8 years of doing it. The Sharp Football Analysis 24 Football Preview. It's the greatest book in football. Everybody's talking about it. And it has taken you forever to get it done. Every year you finally got it done. What a relief.
That's the exact word that I was going to use, Scott. You're reading my mind here. It's an absolute relief when I'm done writing this thing. It's 559 pages of analysis here, breaking down every single team, different team chapters, so you can go through. But the way that I try to deliver it is in a way that's easily digestible by the end user, by the reader, so that you're going to be able to go through it. And it's the fastest way for you to get smart for this upcoming season, because whether you're playing fantasy football, whether you're betting on these games, you need to know what's changed since last year, and you need to know then what is expected out of these teams this year. And a lot changes with a lot of these teams, whether it's coaches, players, philosophies, strategies, youth, age, all of these different factors play a role in addition to the salary cap constraints that the general manager may be working with. And so that changes our perspective on a lot of these teams. So it takes, 4 months, 2 of which are absolutely insane, to get this book ready. But I tell people you're not going to find a better book out there. And if you buy this book and you disagree, I'll give you your money back, because that's how confident I am in my work and my staff's work that we've got a great, great preview to get you guys ready for the upcoming season.
It is bigger than the Bible. It is actually more important than the Bible. And I have to say, now, I know a ton of people love fantasy and make a lot of money off of it, but I'm interested, as you know, in my betting problem. And I like betting on football, and that's why I have to get my hands on that book. My God, is that book enormous. I mean, how do you guys put that together? It is insane. What do you have? Like, each guy's got a responsibility, and then you've got an overwhelming responsibility as the main guy. Like, how does it break down?
Yeah, so years ago when I was writing the book all by myself, I obviously would do everything. Now I've outsourced when I need somebody to write about the draft class. I go to my draft expert, who is one of the most accurate mock drafters in the industry, Ryan McChrystal. So he writes just the little section on all the new players that are coming into the NFL. I've got a defensive specialist on staff who writes only about the defensive side of the football. I've got my fantasy guy. He writes only about the fantasy aspect. He predicts what's going to happen with all the different players on the teams. So we've got a section in there for the fantasy side of things. And then the majority of the chapter is me writing analysis about what I think is going to happen for each team this upcoming season and why. And in addition, on my shoulders falls all the data, the analytics, the charts, the graphics that are on every single page, chock full of them. And so, yeah, I'm putting the most work into the book, but it wouldn't be as nearly as great as the end product if all of these guys didn't bring their specific expertise to the table as well. So it's a really great group that I work with, and I'm working on every single team. I know there's other books out there where this guy writes about that team and another guy writes up another team, and we take on different responsibilities, but each of us are writing all of the teams 1 through 32, so that we have that better understanding, so that when we're talking about a certain team in a division, we understand how that team might perform, because we've spent just as much time talking about the other 3 teams in that same division. And that's important when you're talking about betting on these teams, to get a good perspective of where each one ranks within their own division, as well as within the conference and then the league as a whole.
I'm hearing from my sources in the Pharrell Spew newsroom that by 2026, all other football books will be out of business because of the Sharp Football Analysis book being so much better than all of them, that they will all be doing something else, covering the World Cup. Where can fans get the book?
Well, we do have a surprise coming next week, but right now you can go to sharp.football and you're going to be able to get the book. It's on early bird sale. So just type in sharp.football in your URL. That's where you're going to be able to get the book. It's on early bird sale right now. It's $29.99. That's $5 off the list price. And I can assure you that you're not going to find a better way to spend those $30 getting prepared for the upcoming season than with the Sharp Football Analysis 2024 football preview.
How about the version that's been going out in New Jersey and New York called the Not Sharp Football, which is a story being written about Joe Shane and how he's handled the television cameras and the Barkley situation and running the Giants, where his own owner is like scratching his head and nose, looking at him like, why did I hire you?
Well, Mara is old school. I just wish Mara would sort of stay out of some of this, frankly. Like, I understand what he's doing there, but I think Joe Shane and Brian Daboll are much better at running this team than Mara's involvement. I think it was smart for them to move on from Saquon Barkley rather than paying them. Barkley is not going to get this team where they need to get. What they need to figure out is the quarterback situation. And that's where the Joe Shane comment came into play here about the fact that he felt Patrick Mahomes would fare no better behind this offensive line than did Daniel Jones. And that's patently incorrect. Not only is Patrick Mahomes obviously significantly better, but let's just talk about how much a quarterback controls of pressure and sack rate, which if you take a sack on a drive, you are going to score points at 1/3 the rate as if you don't take a sack on the drive. Taking sacks are absolute drive killers. Quarterbacks need to figure out ways to reduce the amount of pressure and reduce the amount of sacks that they take. And in years past, we talked about that this was an offensive line issue. If your O-line is good, your quarterback's not going to be pressured much. If your O-line is bad, that's when quarterbacks are going to get a lot more pressure. The reality is quarterbacks own and control a lot of that. What are they doing pre-snap to make audibles, to adjust the play, to adjust the protection scheme so they can stay upright faster, so they can reduce the amount of pressure that comes on them before the snap even occurs? They understand, based on film study and what the defense might bring, that what they need to do. And then there's obviously what they do post-snap. How quickly are they scanning their progressions? How fluid is their movement in the pocket to escape if they need to? Just things that Daniel Jones was not doing at all last season, that guys like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are expert at doing. And so, this isn't lingering on the comparison because the comparison obviously was foolish. This is more so, let's focus on the fact that 2024 Daniel Jones must improve in his ability to escape pressure and to get rid of the football and reduce sacks if the Giants want any shot here.
Respectfully, I got about 30 seconds. Did you agree with all the Reed and McVay are the two best coaches in the NFL that came out a couple weeks ago?
Reed, definitely. McVay, so. There are things that I dislike about McVay, but he obviously is a great coach. But there's a couple others I would toss up into the mix. I just think we've got a lot of good coaches in the NFL right now that make some of the bad ones stand out. But the league is moving in a much better direction. There are smarter coaches now than there ever have been, in my opinion.